Good morning, everyone. I want to start by thanking the Duneland Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. You are going to get to hear a lot of great public speakers here this morning. Unfortunately, I am not one of them. My name is Sue Neff, and I am your Republican candidate for Porter County Assessor. Many of you may not realize that in order to take the office of Assessor, you must hold a Level 2 Assessor Appraiser certification from the Indiana Association of Assessing Officials. I have held that certification since July of 2019, and in January of this year, I achieved my Level 3. I have been using that knowledge and applying that knowledge on a daily basis for the 4 years that I have worked in the assessor's office to serve the people of Porter County. Once elected to this position, it will continue to be my full-time job and my full-time focus. I will be available in the office to serve the community. I'll be available in the office to oversee the reassessment process, ratio studies, and trending. I will be available in the office to assure all appeals are handled fairly, and I will be especially in the office to ensure that people are treated with courtesy and respect. When elected, I promise to deliver fair and equitable assessed values for all taxpayers in Porter County. My first priority will be to work with our legislators to find a way to increase the income cap that is currently in place for our senior community in regards to the over 65 exemptions. I don't believe the folks who have lived here all their lives, or many of their years, should be taxed out of their home, which is a comment I hear on a daily basis in their golden years. I also plan to be out in the community networking with individuals to bring a greater understanding of what the Assessor's Office does for Porter County. Please feel free to review my credentials on my website, electsueneff.com. There you will see my many endorsements, most notably from Senator Charbonneau and Representative Soliday, the Northwest Indiana Building Trades, and Ganayar, the Greater Northwest Indiana Realtors. My experience, determination, IAAO certifications, and my promise of being a full-time assessor are the reasons I am the most qualified candidate to be your Porter County Assessor. I'm looking forward to the challenge of heading up the office and would appreciate your support in the coming election. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Valerie Westman and I'm running for Porter County Assessor. I just have to start by saying, wow, how different it feels standing up here from 6 months ago before the primaries in front of all of you. I had a strong desire to be part of Porter County government, and I was encouraged by some enthusiastic leaders to run for office, but I had so much to learn. And in the past 6 months, I've really immersed myself in learning the ropes and making strong relationships with other candidates. And today I stand before you even more enthusiastically seeking your vote for Porter County Assessor. I'm a graduate of Valparaiso Community Schools and Purdue University with a very diverse career path in business leadership and management positions, and my most current position as a realtor for the past 11 years in Porter County. I've had the opportunity to assist my clients in the buy and sell processes with property assessments and tax information, which has given me the opportunity for lots of feedback and the ideas of how to improve the assessor's office. And also on my campaign trail, speaking with residents and taxpayers, and also hearing their ideas, sometimes good and bad, it's helped me formulate what I call the 3 A's of the assessor's office. The first one is accuracy. It is my commitment that as the assessor, all the information that comes out of the assessor's office be accurate. In addition to accuracy, there needs to be accessibility. That accessibility comes from property record cards, property data, the flow of information between the assessor's office and taxpayers and residents. I also understand the challenges that buyers of homes, future home buyers, property owners feel when it comes to the ideas of property assessments and taxes. My real estate experience has helped me greatly with that. In addition to accurate and accessibility, there needs to be accountability. Our number one priority is to be accountable to taxpayers. We will do that with customer service, respect, and again, the accuracy and accessibility. It is my commitment to use every resource available to the assessor's office to make sure we have the right processes, systems, and efficiencies in place, as well as the best people doing the best job to create a Porter County Assessor's Office that is an asset to Porter County. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Tony Downing. I am running for the county auditor position. I have been chief deputy auditor for nearly 8 years. I'm a degreed accountant and certified as a level 2 assessor appraiser. I transitioned to a role in county government from a 20+ year career in commercial real estate, which is relevant when working with deeds, TIFs, and abatements, all those crazy buzzwords. I have a diverse set of skills that make me uniquely qualified for the role of county auditor. I've spoken numerous times about my experience and how our office is currently saving $200,000 a year by doing projects in-house that many other counties have to outsource. But let me share a perfect example of why experience in the auditor's office matters. Earlier this year, we discovered that a neighboring county auditor had miscalculated their supplemental homestead deductions, which resulted in an inaccurate property net assessed values. Unfortunately, because the auditor was unfamiliar with the process, the error was not discovered. Fast forward a few months, those incorrect assessed values resulted in incorrect tax rates being issued for all the units of government in that county. To compound the problem, property taxes were calculated but never reviewed by the auditor or his staff for accuracy, and ultimately, 77,000 incorrect property tax bills were mailed to property owners in that county. It was an incredibly expensive and unnecessary mistake. Manually calculating just one homestead tax bill would have allowed the error to be detected and corrected before those tax bills were ever printed and mailed. In our office, we manually calculate dozens of tax bills to ensure accuracy before we release those calculations to the treasurer. Calculating tax bills is one of my favorite things to do, but admittedly, I'm really weird that way. To me, internal controls, checks and balances, per Indiana code, per local ordinance, those aren't just buzzwords. They are procedures and guidelines that we follow every day to help safeguard your, or rather, our county's assets and protect us from costly, unnecessary errors. Again, my name is Tony Downing. I will be the only experienced and qualified candidate for county auditor on your ballot in this upcoming election. If you would like additional information about me, please visit my website, www.electdowning.com. Thank you to the Duneland for this opportunity. I will ask for your vote on November 8th, and thank you for your time.
Always. Good morning. You ready? Good morning. I'm former State Senator Karen Talion, and I'm here on a couple of things today. So just so that you don't get confused, I'm putting on my Elena Pohl hat. Elena Lightfoot Pohl was actually the first candidate in the Pohl family. Elena today is at the Indiana Association of School Board Members in Indianapolis. She is now running for re-election to the Duneland School Board. Elena is a teacher, but in Michigan City. The Pohls live in Chesterton and have their children in that school system. You know, over the past few years, the storm that was the COVID pandemic caused a lot of upheaval in our communities, but I think especially in our schools. And Elena was part of the school board that got Duneland through that storm. She was part of a successful referendum campaign that secured vital funds to support the district. You know, one of the integral ingredients to a successful school system is the hiring and retention of good teachers. And I happen to know this is a problem all over the state. But Elena was part of a much-needed realignment of teacher compensation in Duneland that has helped solidify Duneland as a leader in Northwest Indiana. She also helped to develop the strategic plan to get successful curriculum for students to enhance the school experience for everyone. They've given more options for connecting students to local business, for internship, and for career and tech ed. It's my experience that local chambers across the state recognize the importance of a solid education and a good school system for their entire community. And I believe that a vote for Elena Lightfoot Pohl is a vote to keep Duneland schools strong.
Hi, I'm Noreen Legan. I'm running for school board, Chesterton School Board. I got a couple little stories to tell about myself. First of all, I raised 9 children in the Chesterton community. They went to the schools. And I, at one point, learned sign language and became an interpreter for the deaf at the schools. And worked with quite a few students for several years in the sign language. And I have a master's degree in education. I taught in Chicago. And I was an award-winning teacher in Chicago. I'm very nervous. In math and reading, I was an award-winning teacher, which is very difficult because the year I won that award, those awards, I had 5 students at the beginning of the year in 5th grade that could not read that was in my class. So I brought that whole class up in ability, and we won over 18 schools, their growth. I have been going to the school board meetings for the past year and a half and following what's been going on. I've spoken about some of the concerns I have. I have been involved in the community in many ways and in my church. I bring parent knowledge into the school system. I bring a teacher's knowledge and how a teacher responds and how the teacher's needs, how to meet their needs. I bring experience from leadership in many different organizations. And I bring a heart that is for the children. I love the children. Raising 9, you'd think I would be done with. But no, I love children, and I will fight for their education. The education is so important. It starts there. And that's my passion, is to see that the children get their reading, writing, arithmetic, and their skills just grow so that they could become our next future citizens of our country. God bless all of you. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Angela Karajanakis, and I am speaking on behalf of Roy Darnell. Roy was not able to attend this engagement due to previously established work obligations. Roy is seeking election for the Liberty seat of the Duneland School Board. He is the 3rd generation of his family to attend Liberty School, making his 2 boys the 4th generation to attend Liberty School. Roy graduated from Chesterton High School in 2000 and from Purdue University in 2005 with a degree in civil engineering. Roy's wife, Lindsay, who is also a lifelong Chesterton resident, is a Duneland school teacher at Westchester Intermediate. Their son Miles is in 7th grade at Chesterton Middle School, and their son Cooper is at 4th grade at Liberty Elementary. Roy is running for the Duneland School Board. The main reason that Roy is running for the seat on the school board is his interest in lending both knowledge and expertise towards the capital projects that are currently taking place across the school district. Roy's schooling and extensive engineering background will provide a skill set that the board will be without once a current board member moves onto other ventures. Some of the skills that Roy will be able to bring include project costing, project management, and value engineering, just to name a few. Having this experience on the board will bring greater financial responsibility to the ongoing and future capital projects. Another reason Roy is seeking election for the seat on the board is to ensure that Duneland's career and technical education program continues to improve and remain amongst the strongest in the state. With the affiliations that Roy has with various companies and unions throughout the construction and trades industries, he may be able to help broaden the offerings of this program. It is no secret that Duneland School Corporation has considered breaking away from the Porter County Education Services. While some may see this as a risky move, others of us see this as an important next step to better foster our students with special needs. Special education teachers and paraprofessionals throughout the district are working just as hard as their general education coworkers, but are not being compensated equally nor fairly. It is in the best interest of our students to retain these teachers and support staff and make them part of the DSC. The last point that Roy would like to discuss today is that Duneland desperately needs to seek, retain, and fairly compensate classified staff. These workers include administrative assistants, instructional aides, paraprofessionals, kitchen staff, cafeteria and recess aides, custodial and grounds, maintenance staff, bus drivers and aides. All are vital to the daily operations of our schools and need to be treated and compensated as such. In closing, Roy has a multi-lens view of the Duneland schools. He is not only a taxpayer in the district, but also a parent, a spouse of a Duneland teacher, a lifelong resident. He feels it is his duty to give back to the community and school system that has given so much to him. Please consider voting for Roy Darnell.
Good morning. My name is Phil Graylick, and I'm running for the Liberty seat on the Duneland School Board. I have been a Liberty resident now for over 25 years, ever since I married the love of my life, who graduated from Chesterton High School and has been a lifelong resident. Our son went to Duneland schools, and we are now blessed to have an amazing 9-year-old grandson. I'm a United States Army veteran. I have a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology. I'm an Indiana licensed professional engineer with almost 30 years of experience in this region. And I believe I am the only conservative running for the Liberty seat on the Duneland School Board. I'm currently a voting member on 3 other boards that manage multi-million-dollar budgets and controversial issues regularly for my job as city engineer of Hobart. I have personally managed projects and programs larger than the current $170 million capital program Duneland has underway, and I'm looking forward to lending my expertise in construction to the district if I'm elected. I firmly believe that if you are running for an elected office, you should commit to showing up and being present to represent your community. Before I committed to running, I attended numerous school board meetings to make sure I could commit to the position and give it my best. Unfortunately, I didn't meet my opponents there, and I was unable once again to meet Mr. Darnell today. But I've heard from dozens of parents that have been there with me, and I understand their concerns and share many of them. I believe in traditional family values and that parents are the final say on their children, especially with regard to medical decisions, and that we need to keep parents involved in their children's lives. Academically, our schools are excellent, and we need to maintain that excellence. But did you know that 35% of Indiana students do not continue on to college? And of those that do, many of them do not complete a degree. Statewide in Indiana, 9.2% of students receive career and technical diplomas, but in Duneland schools, only 1.5% of students receive that diploma according to the Department of Education. We need to do a better job preparing our students to enter the workforce and earn a living. I support the effort that has been underway for months now to withdraw from the Porter County Educational Services. Many districts our size have internal special education services, and the administration and board members are already meeting and visiting with other districts that have internalized these services to find out how they did it and how they run those services. I believe this will resolve a number of issues that exist, including the pay disparity between staff within the Duneland schools. Retaining and recruiting employees is critical at all levels in today's economy. First and foremost, because our people deserve a place that they want to work, and secondarily, because turnover is expensive. Currently, Niche.com ranks Duneland as the 19th best place to teach in Indiana out of 288 districts they considered, but we cannot forget all the non-teaching employees that are essential to keeping our schools going. Finally, I believe we need to look at the nutrition we are providing our students and make sure they have the options they need to fuel their growth and their education. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. I'm Beth Mailing, and I'm running for the Liberty Township seat on the Duneland School Board. I'd like to take the next few minutes describing the ways that I would like to offer a new perspective as a member of the Duneland School Board. The first that I'd like to expand on bringing perspective is as a mom. On the current 5-member board, there's only one woman who's also a mom with students currently enrolled in the schools. As you've just heard, her seat is up for re-election in November, and as you have also just heard, both of my opponents are men, who, if seated, means women will remain underrepresented on the board at only a 20% representation. Moms look at things differently than dads or men and women who don't have children in the schools. I'm not saying a mom's view is better or more correct than these other views, but we can offer a different perspective. My boys are in middle school and high school. Elliot's in 8th grade at CMS, and Brody is a junior at the high school. This means that I've participated in activities, interacted with teachers and staff, and advocated for my kids at every educational level within the district. I've been involved in the schools at every level for the past 10 years as PTO president at the elementary, intermediate, and middle school levels, participation in the parent committee for the Leader in Me at the elementary school, the Old Veas anti-bullying program and the parent advisory committee at the middle school, and sports and band boosters at the high school. I also worked as a substitute teacher in all of the schools during COVID and filled in at all of the levels. The next way I can bring a new perspective is through my career as a pharmacist. Again, I would like to look at the current board, which is made up of a lawyer, 3 current or retired educators, and a construction steelworker. Both of my opponents do have engineering experience, which they have both pointed out will fill the expertise being lost by the current Liberty Township seat holder. I argue that my experience as a pharmacist would bring just as much value to the board, and it will be valuable for the entire 4-year term, not just during the current capital project. The skills I've developed in my 20-plus year career as a pharmacist include that I am data-driven and analytical, I'm detail-oriented and precise, making sure patients get the right medication at the right dose for the right ailment being treated. I'm fiscally conservative, as I'm currently responsible for managing the drug budget and healthcare benefits of a multi-billion-dollar global corporation. The third way I offer a new perspective is the fact that I'm not a Chesterton native. Both of my opponents have come up and asserted the fact that they are lifelong Chesterton natives. I also bring this up because of the current 5-member school board. 3 graduated from Chesterton and the 4th taught in the district for over 30 years. While this is great to carry on traditions, it can also lead to lack of progress and stagnant ideas.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Barb Regnitz, and I'm running for Porter County Commissioner in the upcoming election. The last time I was here, and that was before the primary, I gave you a little bit of information about my background and my 35-year business background as a business analyst, a project implementation manager, a software engineer, financial advisor, and a certified financial planner. And today I'd like to talk a little bit more about the plans and ideas I have for Porter County government. First, it's really important that people in Porter County feel like they have a voice in county government. When people are left out of the information loop, what happens? They imagine the worst. And I'll give you a perfect example. My husband, and probably some of you have a perfect example in your household as well. Something goes wrong, like something's wrong with the furnace, and the whole world is going to collapse. He cannot sleep or do anything until somebody comes over and figures out what's wrong with the furnace. And the same thing happens in our communities. When we're not open and transparent with our residents, they imagine the worst. And so I think it's so important that we be as transparent and as open as we possibly can. I have a couple of ideas in that regard. I recommend that we have at least one of the commissioner meetings in the evening. Currently they're at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's really hard for people to attend. And those meetings aren't even live streamed. So if you can't attend, you can't even participate virtually. So those are a couple of ideas in that regard. I'm also hoping that we can establish business councils around the county. I've talked to Maura and Rex Richards to lay the foundation so that those of us in county government can actually meet with businesses. They're on the bleeding edge of the economy, right? If they are not understanding where we're headed, they're not going to do very well in their businesses. So they tend to be a lot more proactive, and I'm hoping that by county government partnering with business owners is that county government can be more proactive as well. The next thing that I'd like to talk about is public safety. And I would imagine that if you really thought about it, public safety is your number one concern. And you don't realize it until you're about to suffer a heart attack and you want to make sure that somebody comes and saves you. Or your house is on fire and somebody comes and saves your home. Or you're about to be mugged or something and you want somebody to come and save you. So I hope to establish a public safety commission and make sure that we are truly understanding what the needs are in that regard. In conclusion, because I only have 30 seconds left, I want you to know that I'm already working for you. During the primary, I knocked on over 6,000 doors, and that was 5 to 6 hours virtually every single day, talking to people just like you. And in the fall, I have knocked on a little over 2,500 doors, and I have another 2,500 to go before November. I really hope for your support on November 8th. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Julie Georgie, and I'm running for Porter County Commissioner, District 2. My husband Jeff and I have lived together in Porter County for 25 years, and Jeff is a proud graduate of Valparaiso High School. My in-laws have lived in Porter County for over 50 years. Our 3 children were born here in Porter County, went to school in Porter County, and graduated from Union Township School Corporation. A little background on myself, I worked in pharmaceutical sales for several companies until our children were born and went back to school for a master's in education when they were young. I've always been passionate about public education, so in 2006, I ran for and was elected to the first of 4 consecutive terms on the Union Township School Board, where I continue to serve today. I have participated in over 200 school board meetings during my tenure and was president of the board multiple times. I am ready to jump right in and actively participate in county government. Serving the residents of Porter County through its Board of Commissioners is an extension of this service as a school board member. Our school board approves all personnel decisions as well as all decisions about construction and building maintenance. County commissioners are responsible for maintaining all county-owned buildings, in addition to over 800 miles of county-owned roads and 130 bridges, which by law must be inspected every 2 years. Our board is tasked with policy development and implementation, much like our county commissioners. Attracting and retaining quality employees is one of the keys to Union Township School Corporation's success and will remain a major focus in my new role as commissioner. School boards are elected as nonpartisan, and I have spent the last 16 years governing in a nonpartisan fashion and will continue to do so as your county commissioner. Successful county leadership creates opportunities by attracting good paying jobs and providing strong public safety, in addition to providing great quality of life offerings with our plentiful outdoor attractions and lakefront. Well-planned development is fundamental to providing and expanding upon these opportunities for all Porter County residents. The development of projects and ideas with a focus on fiscal responsibility has shaped the work I have done for almost 2 decades. That experience will serve me well and our residents well in this new role as your county commissioner. Since declaring my candidacy in February, I have spent hundreds of hours learning about Porter County, the role of a commissioner, and meeting with our county's residents, listening to the issues that are important to them and to the county. I have attended every Board of Commissioners meeting since February and all but 1 county council meeting. I continue to meet with the people doing the actual work of county government to understand the many responsibilities of a commissioner. We live in a great county with low taxes and so many unique quality of life offerings, but thoughtful leadership is needed to maintain our low tax rates while still providing for the needs of the county. I understand the responsibilities of the position, and I have a willingness to work within the parameters of the position. I look forward to the opportunity to serve the residents of Porter County as your next District 2 County Commissioner. I ask for your support, and thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to see you all again. I'm Becky Matea Lombardini. Yes, that means Leah Lauren and Luke's mom, Chesterton basketball, and a lot of support for that. I'm a fiscally responsible, hardworking servant leader. So, working mom, volunteering. And I have been driven by strong family values, being region raised for 20 years right here in Porter County. I just want to give a shout out to my parents. Together 75 years, that's probably where I learned all that. I have a master's degree in public affairs from Indiana University and a Rotary Scholar. I was to Australia in 91. My career is varied as a wellness director for Johnson & Johnson, a community relations coordinator for the community healthcare system, and faculty at IUN for 25 years. Plus, my family owned a small union printing company where I continue as a consultant. I'm also in the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, parlaying teamwork, diligence, and love into all I do. As a councilwoman, I would ensure fair contracting, good decision-making, and caring for our resources with respect and an open mind and transparency. Specifically for District 1, where I live, the voters vote there, but I would make decisions for the county. I would work on roads, keeping them safe without accidents, our beaches clean, water out of our basements, I've dealt with that quite a bit, drugs nowhere in our county or beyond, mental health, and wise use of ARPA funds will be a top priority. I've actually proposed a wellness initiative for consideration based on my worldwide experience and education. Pretty proactive, because that's kind of my modus operandi. My ultimate goal is for living wage jobs, a safe environment, and good quality of life. I have been approved by our former District 1 Councilman Bob Paparat, who passed away, supported by our Congressman Frank Mervan, and certified in best practices with our national committee. So please join me in keeping this great vision for Northwest Indiana, which we are a part of, and vote Matea for Porter County Council. You might not always be for me, but I will always be for us. Thank you guys, have a great day.
My name is Red Stone. I'm running for Porter County Council District 1. I'd like to thank the Chamber and Maura Durham for hosting this event. A little bit about myself. I am Vice President of Metropolitan Steel. We hire union iron workers in Chicago and Northwest Indiana, and we've built some of the largest projects in the city of Chicago. My business partner and I started our business back in 2003. We were regular iron workers, and we decided to start a business, and we have, and through hard work and determination, it's flourished. My wife and I moved to Porter County, Duneland, 25 years ago and started our family. We have a big anniversary coming up, October 18th. We've been married 25 years, so that's a big accomplishment. Now Rachel and I have 4 children, Madison, Alexis, Ronnie, and Elle. Madison is a nurse. Alexis went through dental school. Ronnie is a union iron worker who at 18 years old graduated and went into the apprenticeship. He's currently going into his 3rd year of apprenticeship. And my daughter Elle, she wants to be a teacher, and I hope she goes to Purdue. So it's between Purdue and IU, and I hope it's Purdue. But my wife and I raised great kids, and we couldn't be more proud of the young adults they became. Raising children in public service are very similar jobs. Both are extremely hard but rewarding. It takes hard work, integrity, and admitting when you're wrong. Unfortunately, in these times, we've become so divided and tribal that working with the opposite party has become a liability. Make no mistake, I am a proud conservative person, and if I am blessed to win, I will always listen and collaborate with everyone to make sure the people of Porter County are getting what their tax dollars pay for, and that is good governance. As a Duneland School Board member for 15 years, I have never let politics get in the way of making sure we do what was right for the community and most of all kids. People ask me, what's the first thing I'll do if I'm blessed to win? Besides supporting law enforcement, keeping taxes low, making sure our drainage and our roads are upgraded, I would like to call each person on the council and I'd like to meet with them. Hopefully I can learn something about each person and we can forge a relationship that transcends politics. I would also like to meet with each of the department heads and the staff to understand their concerns about Porter County. After all, we are in the people business. I'd like to say thank you, but before I do, I would like to say, being the Duneland School Board representative that is getting off, I have 30 seconds, which is good. I would just like to thank each and every one of the Duneland School Board candidates who have thrown their hat in the ring. It's very, very important, and I applaud each and every one of you guys for actually doing this. Is tough. So thank you very much.
Hello, my name is David Reynolds, and I'm running for Porter County Sheriff. I've served the people of this county and this region for more than 20 years as a member of the Porter County Sheriff's Office and as a member of the Drug Enforcement Administration as a special agent. I'm running for sheriff because I have the knowledge, experience, and vision to keep Porter County safe. I want to tell you a little bit about myself, my platform, and why I chose to run. In more than 20 years of law enforcement, I've helped hire, train officers and agents in this region to help keep us safe. I've led investigations that have led to arrests and successful prosecution of numerous crimes, including burglary, robbery, homicide, and drug trafficking. I've also managed multi-million-dollar drug initiatives and crime-fighting initiatives that help keep us safe. I've had the success in law enforcement in part because of my education. I have a bachelor's degree from Indiana University in Bloomington. I also have a master's degree from the University of San Diego. I've also succeeded in law enforcement because I know how to unite people, not divide them. Crime doesn't know borders. Solving crimes means we all have to work together. Under my leadership, our county will have one protocol one protocol that will follow in case of a school shooting, so we can avoid issues like Uvalde. Under my leadership, I will use my unique connections with state, local, and federal agencies. I work with U.S. attorneys' offices around the country, FBI offices, DEA offices. Drug work inherently means that we have to work with different offices. Inter-county office, or outside the county, outside the state, and even international. I have those experiences. And finally, I want to assure that the office of the sheriff is not political. It should not be partisan. We're to keep people safe. This is not an issue of Democrat or Republican. This is an issue of keeping our officers safe and fully funded. But as you know, it is a partisan race. And I decided to run, and it was a decision I did not take lightly. You may or may not know, federal law does not allow federal agents to run for public office. So when I decided to run, I had to separate from DEA, which was a lifelong goal of mine as a little boy even to be a DEA agent. So it was a big decision. But after talking to community leaders, my family, and most importantly my wife, I agreed to leave DEA and run for this office. But I'm not doing this for a paycheck. I'm doing this to keep this community safe. I spent several months speaking with thousands of people all over the county, and it's very clear to me there's more things that keep us united than separated. And I think that that's very important for us to remember that even when we hear different candidates here today, this is a great place to live. We all want a great place to live, work, and to raise our family. I know I do. And I know I have the knowledge, experience, and vision to make those things happen. I want to thank everyone for taking time to be here today. I want to thank the chamber for taking the time and organizing to get people together, which is always hard. And I humbly hope that you consider voting for me for sheriff. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Chamber, for hosting this event. Candidates, voters, thanks for being here. I'd like to start off a little bit about myself. Jeff Ballin, I'm the Republican nominee for sheriff. I was born and raised in Porter County, grew up on a farm, graduated from Chesterton High School, and I've raised my family in Morgan Township for the last 3 decades. And I'm currently the Chief of Police at Valparaiso PD. So, my educational background consists of holding my bachelor's degree from Calumet College in Public Safety Management, and I attained my certificate of completion through Northwestern University School of Police Staff Command. A little bit about my professional background. I spent over 10 years in patrol, leading men and women in uniform. I spent over a decade in the investigations arena, leading investigations from homicides to hostage negotiations. But the transferable skills that I've attained as the Chief of Police has suited me best for the Sheriff's position. As the Chief of Police, I have specialized in recruiting, retaining, training good people, and making them outstanding police officers. I've been conservative in our budgeting. Public safety is not cheap, but it also doesn't give you a blank check. So you have to project programs that are going to carry you and carry public safety for decades. I've been able to do that. I've also been able to address the mental health issues and substance dependency issues in Valparaiso. I have full-time people assigned to that, and they address it and they touch those issues daily. In addition to that, the flip side of that is public safety, okay? Now, as the population of Valparaiso in the area has grown, we've been able to keep our crime rates low. My platforms are simple. Partnerships. You have to partner with your schools, businesses, and churches to keep people safe while they're there. You also have to have relationships with our civic members and our citizens. What I've also been able to do is create partnerships to prevent crime, prevent drug abuse. Those are huge in our community. And the other one is community outreach. That's imperative for the growth of a community. That's imperative to keep communities safe. And that's what I do. I've specialized in that. The final platform topic is innovative training in police work. When you hire and retain the best officers, you also have to make sure that they're equipped. You have to make sure that they're trained to address the community needs. And I've done that as chief of police and as a sheriff. My commitment to this community and to this county is to do the same. Thank you. It's nice seeing everyone here.
Hi, I'm Shirley Evans, and I'm running for Westchester Township Board Member. Why vote for me? Well, I'm experienced. I've successfully held this office for the last 4 years, and I think our current board is doing a fine job. I like to help, and I like to do things to make things better. I was born and raised in Porter County. As a kid, I worked at Burger Shop when Chesterton had a burger shop, and Leonard's when Chesterton had a Leonard's. I graduated from Indiana University with a degree in finance. I'm largely retired, but I'm a chartered financial analyst and an attorney. So I have a good grasp of numbers and understand legal matters. In the past, I delivered meals for Meals on Wheels for 10 years and ran PTO fundraisers at my children's schools in Chesterton. I also volunteered free legal help. I haven't missed a meeting of the Westchester Township Board while I've been in office. My opponent, Mr. Robert Glossner, has never been to a Westchester Township Board meeting. When my opponent filled out the election paperwork, he apparently didn't know the name of the office. Instead of writing Westchester Township Board Member on the form, he wrote Porter County in the blank for the name of the office. I suspect running for office is just a whim of my opponent. Another venture of my opponent was to be an internet talk show host. Let me read you a disrespectful thing my opponent had to say about our community on his internet talk show host website. These are his words. I'm originally from Chesterton, Indiana, born and raised in the crap hole of Northwest Indiana, except the word my opponent used was not crap. My opponent then complained that Indiana was nothing but cornfields and wrote, quote, "You'll move from there someday, well, swear word, when," unquote. Sorry, I just think you need to know this.
Why?
Because it's awful. So that's what my opponent really thinks of our community. My opponent thinks it's a hole and can't wait to leave. Wow. So there's your choice, voting for someone who knows the office and is qualified, which is me, versus someone who has never been to a Westchester Township Board meeting, writes disrespectful things about our community, and wants to leave this area, which is him. I'm the qualified one who loves living here. Please vote for me.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Dion Bergeron. I live in Michigan City. I was a correctional officer most recently at Indiana State Prison. I did some stuff before that, including truck driver, where I've been to 48 states with 100% on-time rating. It's very hard to do that over a 10-year period, but I was able to do so because when I do something, I try to do it right. As a correctional officer at Indiana State Prison, I came to learn firsthand that gun-free zones do not stop violence. Indiana State Prison is probably one of the most secure gun-free zones at least in this area. I am running for state representative for District 9. The reason I'm running is because I do not feel represented. My opponent is a very, very nice lady. I want to make sure everybody understands that she's a sweetheart. But she does not represent me. My voting would be very different. My goals would be very different. One of the things that I'd like to see is a lot more economic development for the region. We have a port here. We have multiple interstates that conjunction in this area. We should be booming, but we're not. We have a stagnant economy. LaPorte County, for example, is losing people regularly. We have a brain drain where people are graduating and they're moving away. There are very few quality careers beyond the steel mill, a few construction companies, etc. I want to change that. We have a supermajority, but not all conservatives are equal. Not all Republicans are voting the same way. Again, my name is Dion Bergeron. You can learn more about me by looking up Dion for Indiana or going to dionbergeron.com. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Duneland Chamber, for holding this event, this opportunity to speak. My name is Pat Boyd, and I am currently state representative. I first became active in politics while working with neighbors to successfully save a wetland. I was asked to run for Michigan City's Common Council, and near the end of my 4th term, I was talking about retirement, and then I was asked to run for state rep. That happens to women a lot. They get asked. I'm finishing my 2nd term and seeking another. My focus is on social, economic, and environmental justice for everyone. I have authored or co-authored or sponsored or amended bills, including bias crime, medical marijuana, misclassification of workers, blood lead testing for young children, minimum wage, increased Medicaid availability and extended coverage for pregnant women, teacher salary increases, newborn screening for health disorders, and various bills to protect voting rights. My environmental protection bills have received most attention, although only one was ever heard in committee with no vote. I've been a service manager for 10 years, a caregiver for my quadriplegic husband for 31 years, and a business owner of a 24-hour secretarial service employing 7 neighbors. I have 1 son and 1 grandson. I have tried my best to protect all of my constituents over the past 19 years. As city council member, I wrote the ordinances to create both a women's commission and a veterans commission. I have never in my whole life wanted to be involved in politics, and I still don't like that part of my job, but I love trying to make things better for people. Sometimes that means producing bills that never get heard. Sometimes it means voting against the majority because I see a negative or even damaging effect on people. Once again, thank you, chamber members, for your time, your patience, and your interest. I'm certainly not perfect, but I do my best to help constituents with individual needs. Sometimes I can't help, and that bothers me, but I still go on. Please help me to go on again in this election. Remember to vote, either early, beginning on October 21st, by absentee ballot, or on Election Day, November 8th. And please vote for me, Pat Boyd.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today. I'm State Representative Chuck Mosley. I live in Portage, Indiana. Recently, this past summer, the governor called a special session with the state of intent of economic relief for all Hoosiers in the state of Indiana. During that special session, House Bill 1001 was discussed and debated. And I'm happy to report that after that debate and after that discussion, of which I offered several amendments to try to improve the language, by a nearly overwhelming majority of bipartisan support, the bill was passed. That bill provides economic relief for you and your families and your business by lowering your tax rate. And at the same time, for some of you, for many of you, returning money back to you that were your tax dollars that you sent downstate. Because we have a constitutional, by Indiana Constitution, we are required to do so. when our budget surplus exceeds a percentage of a month. So I'm happy to report that despite what you may hear, in this particular case, we worked together, we compromised. We did that because it was important for you. And I was very proud of House Bill 1001 and the work that we did together and the collaboration that we had. As I said, that was a stated intent to provide economic relief to Hoosier families and business, which we accomplished. Unfortunately, there was another bill that was heard and discussed and debated on the floor of the House and the Senate in this special session. That bill was Senate Bill 1. Senate Bill 1 is a bill that was passed that effectively removed freedom and protection for women to be able to make a choice for what's important for their health care and what's important for their families. I hope you'll join me in working hard to ensure that we protect the freedom and the choice of women all over the state of Indiana when the next session begins next January. Once again, thank you. I'm State Representative Chuck Mosley. I appreciate your time and your kind attention. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. How many of us in this room are happy with the direction of our country? Please raise your hand. Democrats alike, please. I'd like to see your hand. Who's, of course. I knew that would happen either way it goes. The direction of this country and the policies of the federal government have trickled down. The Democrats in this room, you know who you are. The ones that say you represent the unions, but now they're losing their 401ks. The ones that say that they represent the rank and file members, but they take their money and they're paying more at the grocery store. They're paying more to take care of their families. This is a prime example of a deception mechanism, okay? I hate to be the one to be up here and attack policy, but that's what I'm doing, not people. I'm attacking policy. And right now, the leadership of our country, with 95% of the vote of the Democrats in this room, because that's the analytics, 95% have voted in alignment with the policies of this administration. What does that tell us? If we're headed in the wrong direction and the Democrats in this room are voting 95% in alignment with the policies of this administration, how are these Democrats caring for their districts, their congressional districts, their unions? How are you caring for that? A $600 check from the state of Indiana is awesome, but it can't help the inflation. It can't help all of the other issues that we're dealing with. The unions are tired. I'm a union member, 15 years. Hopefully you guys can say that. I'm also an operations manager at U.S. Steel. I have seen the Democratic policies affect the middle class. And then they can sit up there and they can lie. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. As your representative for the state of Indiana, I will be a catalyst for change. I will come after the policies that Mr. Mervan, no offense to Chuck Mosley, awesome, great individual, but your time is up. Portage needs a refresh. Portage needs vibrant business. Portage needs not a declining school in Portage High School, but a school that's inclining, a school that's being positive, okay? The crime, this area here in Portage, the crime has been ridiculous, okay? I've been here since 2008, so I've watched what my representative has done for me since the first time. He's been there since 2008. So all I can tell you is this: if you want the same, and you want the struggle, and you want the hardships that we're going through, you have to look at the Democrats in this room that are in alignment with the poor policies of this administration. And I'm going to be a catalyst for that change. Manuel Maldonado for State Representative.
I love my community. I've been part of it for 61 years, going on 62 now. I've raised a child here. 5 generations of my family have been here. And today I just wanted to share a story with you. It's funny, I opened a letter yesterday And my wife was kind of excited. She said, I want you to read this. And I think it resonates with all of us. There was a neighbor down the street that, I don't know, for whatever reason, decided to give me a testimony. But it says, when I go to the polls to vote, I see a group of names on the ballot, but really don't know the candidates. Sure, I may see the candidates handing out candidate parades or some lawn signs with their name on it, but I really don't know any of them. I want to know if they're a good person. Would they be better in that position than their opponents? Do they have a caring demeanor, or are they an honest person? Even with research, it's difficult to acquire this information and truly know them. This brings us to my purpose of writing this endorsement. My name is Mike McKinney. I have his permission to say his name. And my family and I have been a neighbor of Jeff Larson and his family for 25 plus years. I feel I know him personally. What I have observed over the years is a hardworking, honest, educated, caring, level-headed, family-oriented individual who would do anything to help his neighbors and community. This is the candidate I want in my local or federal government. I hope this sheds some light on the type of person he is and how I believe he would be an asset to the future for our community. I'm not here to attack anybody else on my stage today or have any moment that you think would be life-changing. What's happened in my life is all of you at some point have touched me, and it's made me who I am today. And I continue to serve my community with that heart. It's when I was on the council, when I was on the township boards, it was the president of the Cemetery Association, wherever I've been. I was elected by this chamber in 2019 as Volunteer of the Year. It's because I've given my heart back to the community, and that's really what we're all here for. I've heard tons of good ideas today from every one of the candidates. Why aren't they used during the year? Why aren't we having those discussions during the year every single day of our lives about what we can do to make this a better community? We all live here. We all have to go to the same grocery stores, shop in the same facilities, use the same banks. We have a responsibility to one another to make this a better place. And it's with the right choice and the right people in those positions that we'll do that. I've been a lot of things in this government, a lot of things in schools. I taught for 20 years. All I want to do is make this a better community for all of us and for our kids. My name's Jeff Larson. Hopefully you'll put me on the ballot and vote for me. Thank you for your time.
I got my Senate hat on today. All right. Senator Pohl regrets that he can't be here in person. He is in the Senate Health Committee in Indianapolis today, where he has already shown himself to be a really tough interrogator. I am very happy to speak for him, and I've got a little bit of personal investment in this particular race. When I decided to retire, I spent a long time looking for somebody that I could personally support to take this position. I was looking for somebody who would work hard. That's key. But who also knows the special place that is Northwest Indiana. Somebody who understands the tensions between Indiana's premier manufacturing industries up here, but also our very, very unique environment here along Lake Michigan and the Indiana Dunes. Somebody who could walk the line between our small town feel and the fact that we live right next door to Chicago. But somebody who would also understand that when you take the job as a state senator, you are also making laws and policy for the entire state of Indiana. You have to be able to see the big picture and play well with others. Rodney Pohl is all of that. He's an articulate, sharp attorney. He grew up here and has so many ties to the community that I have actually been amazed every time I see him at places. And I said, what, you know these people too? He knows local government. He's a municipal attorney. He has taken a place on the Courts and Criminal Code Committee where he has to work with the sheriffs and the Department of Correction. And he has been a public defender who has now received the endorsement of the FOP. Rodney knows how to bring both sides of an issue together. One of his top issues is education and developing a top-shelf, well-educated workforce. He's on the Pensions and Labor Committee, and he's doing a really good job. In his first year, he has already helped to get through a bill on mental illness and addiction. I have spoken to a number of insiders down there since I left. Lobbyists, organizations, Democrats and Republicans, who have all told me, congratulations, he's really good. 1 year in, and people are already starting to listen to him. We need to send him back. I'm supporting Rodney Cole. I hope you do too. Thank you.
Good morning. I'd first like to thank the Duneland Chamber for all that you've done, for the community for putting this together. 3 minutes is a short period of time, and I want to accumulate what we've done and what we've accomplished. When I became elected and became your member of Congress, I had a conversation with Congressman Visklowski. He said, you have two choices. You can try and become a national candidate, you can try and ignore your district, or you could be district-centric and district-focused. So I've been district-focused, and examples of that are the American Rescue Plan that brought resources back to the Duneland area, back to Northwest Indiana. It allowed our children to get back into school, it allowed parents to get back to work, and it allowed our economy to continue going forward. And that was during a very uncertain time. Well, 3,000 people were dying while the state closed certain areas. And what we did is we gave economic certainty during that period of time so we can get through those very difficult times that we can't forget about. The American Rescue Plan, I also had an opportunity to sit down with Governor Holcomb at the Ignite Indiana Forum just weeks ago. The American Rescue Plan contributed to our economy and will continue to contribute to our economy in the form of Ready Grants. The Ready Grants are here for Northwest Indiana. $50 million was a collaborative effort that brought us all together, that allows us to be invested in our economy. Secondly, the infrastructure bill. I am co-chair of the Steel Caucus. My job is to focus on making sure that the steel industry thrives. So when we invest in the infrastructure bill, which is certainty for men and women who are working every single day for the economy, when we invest in our roads, our bridges, our waterways, our ports, and our airports, as the co-chair of the Steel Caucus, we made sure that there was a strong Buy American provision so our steel mills can thrive, so that there's certainty for our industries, so that men and women are investing here in Northwest Indiana. And when we invest in infrastructure, then you get out of the way of private business so that they can develop. Examples like in Michigan City, who has $80 million worth of development, $240 million worth of development within the double tracking. Yes, the double tracking is part of the infrastructure bill. It will revitalize Chesterton. It creates jobs for today and tomorrow. Today in the New York Times, the physics Nobel Peace Prize winners won because they were investing in quantum computers in an intellectual type of way. The double tracking is laying fiber for the next generation of jobs of quantum computing so that we can create jobs. So what I want you to know is, thirdly, jobs, the economy, cutting costs, but protecting women's rights. I have two daughters, Genevieve and Scarlett, who are 15 and 19. I have seen their rights taken away. I want to make sure that there is no one, not a politician and not a policy, that gets in between healthcare choices and my daughter's choices as they are going forward. I am Frank Mervan. I'm a member of Congress, and I humbly and respectfully have been a district-centric candidate and member of Congress, and I humbly and respectfully ask for your vote. I thank you all very much.